Yes, welcome back to the sports show. Showjumping was on in April, as you know, Poppy. And of course, we got two superstars.
We did, superstars.
Nicole Brueggemann comes in and Connor Reid. Now, Connor finished first in the state titles,
Yep.
and Nicole second just by one lousy second.
Well,
one
close
bad
enough,
time,
yeah.
really.
Yeah, that's it.
But they've both been good enough to come in. Thanks for coming in.
No.
Let's start with you, Nicole. The state championships in April. How did you see the competition for you?
Yeah, it was super. I mean, it's the perfect ground to run it. Like, best grounds in the country by far. I'd like to have more shows there, but it's just such a popular place.
So where were they held? And
At Wayville.
At Wayville,
where
okay.
the Royal Show is.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about Wayville Showgrounds with harness racing shortly, which is pretty exciting. So what makes it so good there at Wayville? Just when you say the ground, what does that mean?
It's just, it's super soft, but it's not soft where horses can do an injury.
Okay.
But it's not too hard. So it's a little bit like Goldilocks, really. It's not too soft, but not too hard.
That's
it's
right, yeah.
perfect in the middle.
Yeah, fantastic.
You know, so it's, yeah, and the horses just keep jumping, and it doesn't matter how big the jumps are, it just brings out the best in the horses. The main class for the show was just spectacular.
Okay.
Because the horses just jump higher.
They feel
and higher.
confident themselves, and can you feel that in the horse when you ride
absolutely.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Connor, for you, clearly it was a good course, mate. You win the junior state titles and then had some spectacular rides on the weekend. What made it so good for you?
The competition is great. The competitors come from both South Australia and Victoria, and they have the best that there is. I won the competition by less than a second, so it was very close, and I was very lucky to come off with.
So where does South Australia sit in a national scale? I mean, obviously we've had some good performances against Victoria, but on a national scale, are we still fighting above our weight as we tend to do in so many different sports?
Yeah, we do that a fair bit. Often we don't do so well in the teams, but we have done. But individuals, we're very good. Nicole has been competing at a high level, and she's won quite a lot. So,
Nicole, tell us, finishing second, one time fault. For the viewers, can you explain how you come second and missed by one time fault?
Well, I actually say it was my Oscar moment, because they actually called out that I'd won the class, and then they had to go back because they may have misjudged it, and so I ended up coming second by a time fault, which means they just had, because we both had time faults in the second round, we were both clean, but I also had a time fault in the first round, so that time fault in the first round was what cost me.
So what is
overall.
it? What is the time for?
So
Is that
if
just
you
too
go
slow?
so there's a set time allowed.
Yep.
And then if you went over the time, so it depends on how it's judged.
Yes.
So sometimes each 4 seconds you're over is one time fault.
Okay.
But even if you're over the time allowed, it's still a time fault. You could be over by 0.2 of a second or 0.1 of a second, and you still get one time fault.
Okay.
So yeah.
So basically you lost by that much?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Hey, Connor, can you explain to the viewers, mate, the International FEI World Jumping Challenge, how that works? Because you've done really well.
Yeah.
How does that now work?
So everywhere around the world, they'll have exactly the same size arena, the exact same size jumps, and the exact same course. And it's a way of comparing how someone in Australia goes against someone in, for instance, Germany or someone overseas.
So what do you look at now? So you've done really well. You've got to sit back and wait and see what everyone else around the world's doing.
Yeah.
So at this stage, there's a chance you're the best in the world.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll go with that. The best in the world. We'll go with that. But that's a really. There's not too many sports where you can make those comparisons. And I know they tried in swimming, but sometimes it's the density of the water. They tried in track and field, but sometimes it's the speed of the track. I guess, as you were saying, Nicole, the makeup of the course, the surface is a. How would that compare? Is it seen as a fast course or not? Probably not if it's got a bit of give.
Yeah, I mean, some surfaces, like I said, are hard and some are really soft, and it just comes down on what your horse prefers. Some horses won't jump off hard ground, some horses won't jump off soft ground, but then vice versa, some horses might like really soft ground and not like the hard ground. It just, at the end of the day, depends on what your horse is like and if the course that is set suits your horse. Some horses like a short, sharp, shiny jump off track. Some other horses like a big, nice gallop. It just depends on what's set and if your horse likes it.
So on the world stage then, the surfaces could be different, say, in Germany compared to the surface here at Wayville?
Yep.
How do they allow for that in some way, or that's just accepted, that's just part of it?
It's just part of it. Yeah, they can't really, because overseas, a lot of them are more of a textured surface. It's not a grass surface as much now, whereas over here grass is basically all we've got.
Connor's made the point, Nicole, that you're at senior level, you're seen as one of the shining lights. What about at junior level? What's coming through? Because there's a lot of competition to get juniors involved in their particular sport. The latest being women's AFL football, of course. That basketball and netball are suffering as a result. What about the next wave of competitors coming through? How's it looking?
Oh, it's absolutely seriously strong. I mean, when you go to the Australian titles, you know, there's normally over 100 competitors in the class.
Wow,
you
okay.
know, maybe not everyone should be in it. They're not quite up to that, but they're giving it a go anyway, and it gives them, you know, a goal to work for the following year. But there is a really, really strong field coming through all states, SA, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland.
Because when you talk about a junior getting involved, it's one thing to buy a pair of football boots, it's another thing to buy a netball skirt, but when you've got to buy a horse,
And they don't have one.
no, that's right, and you've got to feed them every day. It's an expensive little hobby, and you know, growing into a sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much time and effort kind of would you spend on a weekly basis?
Oh, well, for me, I ride every night, and that's an hour, 2 hours, and then on the weekend, if we're going to a show, it's 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. It's quite time consuming. And
But how many horses? How many horses have you got?
I have 2 that I ride regularly, and I ride some more that Dad owns as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you now? Kyle, how many horses for you?
It was heaps, I think, from
I've got
memory.
Five in work,
retired one.
five in work at the moment, and then
Wow.
I've got one or two more coming in. One of them's actually only mine, and the others are all clients' horses
Okay.
that I'm riding for them.
Blue Star?
Yep.
Blue Star, you've just retired.
Yep.
Blue Star. How old?
He is 20, rising 21 this year, so
wow.
he's been an absolute treasure, and so I thought it was time for him to go out in the paddock.
Did he still have the zest to jump up until when?
He jumped at the state titles in the main class.
There you go.
Tried his heart out, had a couple down, but he just absolutely tried, and you know, that was all I could ask for. And yeah, I retired him on that because he just absolutely loves jumping, and you know, he's just at an age now where he just can't jump those bigger.
You know, there's been a lot said, and I'm digressing from show jumping to jumps racing now, and we spoke about that briefly last time. But if a horse doesn't want to jump, he doesn't want to jump.
No, that's it.
But they love, as I understand it, they love to jump. They love the competition like a human would.
Yep.
And Poppy, you like to jump, but you can't jump anymore. And it's time for us to jump into a break because we need to get
I can't.
Nicole. Connor, thanks for coming in. Stay with us. Still more to come on the show.